Hello and welcome to this brief overview of emotional intelligence. Daniel Goleman is known as the guru of emotional intelligence. However, he was not the first person to talk about emotional intelligence. Peter Salovey, John Mayer, and Howard Gardner all spoke about it in the previous decade. Emotional intelligence is not new, however. Aristotle and Marcus Aurelius had much to say about it. It is about the ability to make healthy choices, accurately identify, understand, and manage feelings of yourself and of others. The good thing about emotional intelligence is it can be learnt, and learnt relatively quickly. Being emotionally intelligent helps you reduce stress, lower anxiety, build confidence, increase self-esteem, and develop resilience. Research suggests that in order to succeed in life in general, we need roughly the following ratio: 20% IQ and 80% emotional intelligence. What are emotions? Well, emotions are feelings. And every minute we have between 3 and 5 emotions. About 10% of the population are unable to identify and describe emotions, and this is called alexithymia. And 50% of people on the autistic spectrum are severely impaired when it comes to trying to express or identify their emotions. As I said, it doesn't mean you don't have them, it just means that you can't identify them. You can create an emotion by just thinking about something. Actually, why don't you try that just now? Just close your eyes and think for a few moments about a really happy event, and just do that now. And then open your eyes and just think how it felt. How did your body feel? Did you have any sensations? There is some debate as to how many basic emotions there are. Some say 7, some 6, 5, but everyone agrees that there are 4 basic emotions: mad, sad, glad, and scared. And that every other emotion is made up from a combination of these basic emotions. So, for instance, jealousy might be from sad, mad, and fear. It's a bit like having 3 primary colours: yellow, blue, and red, and all the other colours are made up from a combination of those 3 colours. Or in literature, it is said that there are 7 basic stories or themes, and all other stories and films and books, etc., all come either from one or a combination of those. Emotions do have an impact on our lives. If we have positive emotions, then we tend to be happy, go forward, strive for what we want, and usually succeed in some way. If we have negative emotions, then very often we feel miserable, feel low, even depressed. Our perception of things is important. We all know people who think they know what is what. Therefore, they are not open and do not listen. They have closed minds, particularly to what is possible. Emotionally intelligent people tend to be more open and therefore listen and can consider options and therefore have choices in life. How we see the world determines how we cope with the world. Try activity 1. Here are the 3 secrets of emotional intelligence. Know what triggers your emotions. What does it feel like? And how do you manage them? Everything we do in life is part of a cycle of behavior. There's a trigger, which leads to a thought, and then to an action. So what is emotional intelligence? Well, it's the ability to make healthy choices based on the ability to identify, understand, and manage our own feelings and the feelings of others. So it's really about being able to understand what your emotional experience is, to be able to understand other people's emotional experience, and then to be able to use that information to inform choices. There are 4 domains in emotional intelligence. Self-awareness, understanding yourself, including your strengths and areas for improvement. Having a high degree of self-awareness means knowing your values, principles, and beliefs. What you know you are capable of, and what you need to do to improve. Self-awareness means knowing what makes you tick emotionally, which in turn means that you have emotional control. Our sense of self-worth, self-esteem, the extent to which we believe in ourselves, and the confidence that we have in ourselves all develop out of our own self-awareness. Activity 2. Self-management. This relates to self-awareness. Self-management is about managing your emotions, thoughts, and actions. This is particularly important. Having highly developed self-management skills means that we are far less likely to react to situations which we might regret later. We can't even begin to think about managing others unless we can manage ourselves. Those who have a high degree of self-management also have integrity and authenticity. This generates trust and respect from others. Self-management is also about taking personal responsibility and being accountable for one's actions and behavior. It also enables us to remain flexible and to manage change more effectively. Activity 3. Social awareness. Social awareness is the ability to read social cues in others. Things like empathy. And empathy allows us to understand others better, not only our colleagues, but also our friends and family and other situations. This will help then cut down on things like frustration, anger, relationship management, and good interpersonal skills. By being aware of social events, we're then able to manage those, and we can bring out the best in ourselves, but also the people that we're working with, without misunderstanding or conflict. Activity 4. Our self-awareness and beliefs influence the way that we view the world. The thing about our thoughts and feelings are, well, just that, they're just thoughts and feelings. And we tend to think 2 things about them, that they're real and that it's the truth. Unfortunately, neither is the case. However, our thoughts and feelings do have a real effect upon our lives. Emile Coué, who lived about 100 years ago, stated, "When the imagination and the conscious will are in conflict, the imagination invariably gains the day." i.e., if you consciously want yourself to stay calm and relaxed at the dentist, but you're imagining panicking or something going wrong, then you will almost certainly feel anxious unless you do something about it. One of our psychological foundations is called locus of control. And locus of control refers to how much control or power we believe that we have over events in our lives. If we feel we've got a lot of power and control, this is called internal locus of control. And this is where we believe that events and experiences in our life are primarily controlled by the way that we think about them, our behaviors and actions. An external locus of control is where we believe that events and experiences in our life are primarily controlled by external forces, powerful others, luck, fate, chance. This, of course, is not real, but it is the way that we think. And because we think it, it has a real effect on our lives. But it can be easily changed by changing the way we think. Notice the cat in the picture. What type of locus of control would you say it had? Do you think it's got an external locus of control or an internal locus of control? Another one of our psychological foundations is self-esteem. Beliefs about our capacities, how likable we are, our sense of self-worth. If we have high self-esteem, we believe that we are worthwhile and a competent person, and we tend to like ourselves. If we have low self-esteem, we believe that we're not very worthy, we're not likable, not very bright. This, of course, is not real, but it is the way that we think. And because we think it, it has a real effect on our lives. But it can be easily changed by changing the way we think. Social anxiety. Social anxiety is a function of our self-esteem and our locus of control. It's not real. It doesn't come from outside of us. It is created by the way that we think. But it has a real effect. If we worry that we will fail or say the wrong thing or not pass a test or embarrass ourselves, and then we imagine that others will think of us badly in that situation, we will begin to feel really anxious, get stressed, perhaps not take the test, not do a thing where we might fail. This, of course, is not real, but it is the way that we think. And because we think it, it has a real effect on our lives. But it can be easily changed by changing the way we think. Thank you for listening. That has just been a concise, very basic introduction to emotional intelligence and a few other things that are connected with it. If you'd like to know more, then just email me and I'd be happy to talk to you. Bye-bye.